is Thursday, and welcome to another edition of HBCU Period, where we talk about everything HBCU period. And today we are joined by the myth, the legend, Jackson State head coach and former NBA player, Coach Mo
I'm doing good.
Williams. What's
Doing
going
good.
on, man?
Just getting to the house. Just had about 15 minutes to get ready for you guys. So I'm excited. I'm ready to go to work. Let's go. Gotta have energy. Gotta have energy.
I feel that, Coach. Let's have fun. Let's start it off. Agreed. I need you to do. We got to do a quick fit check now. Jackson State head to toe. Let's see the full hoodie. Let's see which.
Ooh, fresh.
That is a SEC championship ring.
What's the chain?
I wear
What
it
type
every
of
day
chain?
for my guys. Let them know what we're trying to do. We're trying to win a SWAC championship, and I did that at the University of Alabama when I was at college. So just motivation for them on every day. Every day we're at practice. I wear it during the games practice. Just let them know. And then right around conference play, when we go into the conference tournament, I wear my championship, my NBA championship ring. I wear that on my hand, though, because I don't have a chain big enough for it.
I know that's right. Well, since he mentioned the NBA, let's start with it, Coach. You had an illustrious NBA career, and now you're a head coach at Jackson State. And, you know, as coaches, you're kind of responsible for developing your players on the court and off the court. And I'm sure that some of your players have pro aspirations. So aside from showing them, you know, what they're supposed to be chasing, what are you telling them to keep them motivated?
It's telling them, but as far as going to the telling part, you really got to just show them, right? And not show them, when I say show them, I'm not talking about on the court type of things. It's just the way I move, the way I talk, the way I present myself, just, et cetera. Just kind of how to be a pro, how to be professional, how to understand what you need to do every day to prepare yourself to be better the next day. I think that's the most important part in getting them to understand, because you got to understand, especially kids from Jackson, and I'll just say kids at an HBCU that got overlooked by maybe some bigger schools or been at a bigger school that ended up at Jackson State. It's rarely that they're around pro athletes that often, right? And when they get around me as a coach and they understand, like, wow, he's just like me. He has an upbringing like I had. Well, he's really not that tall. I'm 6'1", 189, 190. It's like it's the same. But what I explain to them over and over again, the difference between me and you is my mindset. So I try to work on their mindset on a daily basis, try to have them with a championship mindset, meaning, everything you do every day got to be the best. You got to put your best foot forward. You can't take days off. You can't go through the motions. You got to come in and get better every single day as a basketball player and as a man.
Mindset. Mental is powerful, and I think in athletics a lot of times people will scale toughness on a physical level. How hard can you work out? Your moves, which moves are the greatest?
And I use that as an example because it's the middle to the end of our season. We have 9 games left, plus obviously whatever we do in the tournament. But at this point of the season, everybody's injured. Everybody has some kind of knacks and bruises and whatever the case may be. Now it's your mindset. Is you going to let that affect, what you do at practice or a game? Or are you not going to practice because you're feeling a little banged up? Because in the game, you're going to be banged up. So you got to get through practice. You got to practice just like you're 100% healthy. That's all mindset.
Okay, Coach, I'm happy you alluded to, for people that don't know, so many teams in the SWAC. The SWAC takes the top 8 teams to the SWAC tournament. So you have to fall that top 8 in order to go. So right now you guys are competing against a lot of teams trying to get into that top 8. Quite a few games left. Still got the month of February. What are some things you're working on your guys go
You
on a
was
limb
chopping up a little bit, but I got the gist of what
one
you
of
were
those
saying.
spots.
The most important part, and I'm going to keep echoing this, is the mindset, right?
Sorry.
You know, going back to some of the things I just previously mentioned, just, you know, your aches, your bruises, or whatever case may be, you may come to practice and you know what, today, I don't feel like practicing today. Man, we got to practice. I just want to play the games. And you can't just show up to a game and play a game, right? So you got to understand what it takes to get prepared for a game on a Saturday. You know, we play on Saturdays and Mondays. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is very important. You know, so you win a game on Saturday on Wednesday. You know, it's your approach on Wednesday. You know, how you approach Thursday, how you approach Friday, going into shoot around on Saturday. It starts then. And I echo this. Everybody is ready to play on game day. But the question is, are you prepared?
You've also played at a very extensive WAC. You talk a little bit about some of the season and some of the parity. You know, a lot of close.
Listen, our
in the
league
SWAC in terms
is
of
really
fighting for
tough.
those.
You know, if you look at our standings, I mean, you're right there. You lose three games in a row, you'll fall to the bottom real quick. So every game is important. You know, like obviously we got Valley coming in here on Saturday. Just for example, they're coming in, you know, 1-7 in the league, and if you're not ready to play, they can come in and beat you. You know, so you got to really be prepared to play. You got to be ready to play every night. You know, it's just. In my words, it's going to be a dogfight every night. You know, you got to come ready to play. You know, we've had some tough games thus far. We've won 5 games, but every one of the games we've won been tough games. Came down to the last 4 minutes of the game, and we won all 5 of them. And we lost 4 games. We're 5-4 sitting in the middle of the pack. But those 4 games we lost, it was kind of likewise, right? You know, 5 minutes going the game, it's 3 points, 4 points, and, you know, it just kind of can go either way. And that's how every game has been thus far. And that's what I expected to be going forward.
There's a lot of great competition around the
Well,
SWAC, and
I think
we're
too. I'm
approaching
gonna let you answer the
tournament
question.
time.
I mean, ask your question, but you said something starting off, and people don't understand the talent and the caliber coaches that's in this league. And people get it misunderstood when they look at our record going into conference play, and they don't realize that every team in SWAC has been on the road. Like for us, for example, all of our games that we've played been on the road. We played 13 non-conference games. Guess what? It's no coincidence. All 13 games has been on the road, and that's tough, you know. And you know, but at the same time, you know, as a coach, you know, you got to keep your team together. You know, it's hard to play all these road games. For us, we play 6 top 25 teams in non-conference. Top 25 teams not doing that. You know, so people don't, and all of them on the road at their place. So we're not playing them at neutral sites. Obviously, we played Mississippi State at a neutral site, but that was their home game. But for the most part, it's pretty tough. So ask your question. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just going to amplify that as well. There's, competition all around the SWAC, and especially, coaching. You have guys like, Landon Bussey, among others, great teams, Grambling, who knocked off, a good team in Vanderbilt. So when you are looking at
beat,
the rest of
Arizona State.
Yeah, Alcorn beat Wichita. So when you're looking around at all these different teams, the level of competition, what's the mentality going through to the rest of the season?
For me, non-conference, I'm a fan of our league. So when our league is playing another opposing team in non-conference, I always root for our team, our conference per se, and we're all a team. Every win that you mentioned, the Grambling, the Southern, the Texas Southern, all these teams that went out and got wins against other schools. I personally text every one of those coaches and got them to understand, listen, man, that's a great job. I acknowledge, what they've done for the league. So for me, it's a support there. Like, we support each other. And it's vice versa. I won one non-conference game against SMU, And I got numerous text messages from coaches in our league congratulating me because we know how hard those wins are. We know that we go into those games, and I understand the casual fan watching the game, they watch the game and say, "Oh, y'all guys played them tough. Okay, you guys played good," or we lose by 20. In some cases, some teams have lost by 30 or 40 in some situations. But they don't understand the parity that goes on with those games, how the calls are so one-sided per se. And you don't really get a chance to win those games, especially if the game close down the end. They usually take it from you with the whistle. And you be in those situations more so than not. And it's tough to win games like that. So when you do get a win on the road, non-conference in our league, it means something.
Okay, Coach, I'm going to take all the way back. We're going to start with the season. How the opportunity.
Well, for
Jackson,
one,
how did
I
that
was at
manifest
Alabama
for you?
State coaching there, and obviously I'm from Jackson. I'm tied in to everybody here. The athletic director, me and him are best friends. We went to high school together. We was high school teammates. And the head coach previously, Wayne Brent, that retired, I've been knowing him ever since I was, since I was 13 years old. So for this thing to kind of come to fruition, I had no idea he was about to retire. And he was at the brink of his retirement toward the end of the year. And we had a conversation, and it kind of led to where I am now. He said he was going to retire. And obviously, the next call from the AD was to me. And, offering the job to me. And it was a no-brainer. Me coming home, me being able to lead a program that my parents attended. My mom graduated from Jackson State. My little brother graduated from Jackson State. So I've been going to Jackson State games ever since I've been, able to walk. So I have memories. This is the first school I have memories from. Obviously I went to Alabama and I support them wholeheartedly, but it's no different from Jackson State. Even when I was playing professionally in the NBA, I've always donated things to Jackson State. I've donated a basketball court. I've donated basketball goals. I've donated weight room equipment. Been in a situation where I donated a little cash to them to help them out. So I've always, and with nothing in my mind knowing that I'll be in this seat today. Because at that time, I didn't know what I wanted to do after I played. I gave, commentating a shot. I went and the year I retired in 2016 and 17, I went around, I did some SEC network stuff, and I realized I wanted to coach. I realized I was close to the game, but wasn't close enough to make a difference. So that's what urged me to get into coaching. And I went out to Cal State Northridge for 2 years with my head coach that I played for in college, Mark Goffard, which got me in the college game. And I've been here ever since, going into my 5th year coaching, my 3rd year as a head coach.
When you said you went out to California to, kind of get into the coaching game, and you coached under the coach that you played for, how did that time kind of shape your coaching style, kind of like in the way you
I do a lot
now?
of things that, obviously I learned from him. Obviously, you want to put your own personal imprint on things, obviously. But I have a lot of great mentors, with Mark Goffard being 1, with Jim Herrick being 2, and with Kevin Sampson at Houston being 3. And Johnny Jones being another one that's at Texas Southern in our league. He actually was the coach when I came out of high school. He recruited me because he was assistant coach at Alabama at the time. So we have that synergy, we have that connection, and that's been a mentor of mine from day one. So those 4 guys I talk to, all the time. I pick their brain, and we just have basketball conversations. But just understanding kind of all 3 of those guys have been head coaches at a high level. Johnny Jones has been at LSU. Mark Goffard has been at Alabama, NC State, Jim Herrick has been at Georgia. He's been at Rhode Island. Kevin Sampson been at Oklahoma. He's been in Houston, where he's been successful everywhere he went. So for me, I have aspirations to be great. I want to be great. So I just surround myself and really get the tutelage from guys that have really done it at a high level and have done it for a long time and had success.
One thing that is known for, you got to all props to Ashley Robinson. I invited him on. He couldn't be here tonight. So safe travel, Ashley. But I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned your relationship with Robinson, but he clearly, how to find quality coaches. Jackson, yourself included, Coach, he knows how to set up the programs. Think about Coach Robinson that knows, he knows how to go bring it in.
Well, he
Jackson.
has a vision. Again, you're breaking up, but I got the gist of it. It's all right.
Girl, how about that Wi-Fi? That Wi-Fi is not
so.
Use our 5G data.
Listen, I told you.
But I got the gist. I got the gist. I got the gist of what
you
you're
sound
asking.
better
But one thing about AD Robinson is he has a vision. He has a vision, and along with myself, my mentors are guys that has done it at a high level. And has a vision to be great at a high level, and so is his mentors. His mentors are guys that's at Power 5 conferences, doing certain things as an AD, and he talks to those guys often, and he try to implement some of those, or if not all those things, with us. He go want to find quality coaches, get them to understand that whatever you need, we'll do whatever we can to get it done. And one thing he's great at is he don't sugarcoat anything. If it's something that he can't do, he will let you know, I can't do it. But what we can do is always the next statement from him, trying to figure it out. Whether it might not be a Bentley, but it may be a nice 2022 model, right? And it may be real nice. Interior's clean, but we don't have a Bentley, but we have the same thing that a Power 5 have. They just have the Bentley version. So for us, we just try to do those things. Just for example, like little things like cost of attendance. Every Power 5 and major school, mid-major, they have cost of attendance for these kids, right? They understand the living arrangement as far as from an athlete standpoint. We want to make sure they're living in nice environments and apartments and things like that. We want to make sure they're eating healthy, because we're asking them to be high-level athletes. So for our vision, or his vision per se, is to give them a Power 5 experience at an HBCU, because one thing the Power 5s don't have is an HBCU experience. Exactly.
Yes, they don't have the culture, often imitate,
and that's the only way
duplicate.
They tear us down, because they just try to give all our kids the glitz and the glamour. You come here, this is our nice facility, this is our nice arena, this is our nice this and that. But they don't have the band, they don't have the campus life, they don't have the quad, the plaza, they don't have fried chicken Wednesdays, they don't have fish fry Fridays, they don't have the food trucks on campus, they don't have the DJs, out there at noon, they don't have those they don't have the step shows, they don't have the Greek night at the game, they don't have that experience. So that's something they can never take away from us. But what they do have is the other things that still pull our kids away. So if we can somehow bring those things to us and keep our culture and keep the things that we've already doing, that's how we can even the playing field, not trying to be like them because, hey, we don't have the facilities they have. That ain't gonna change tomorrow. But we can change all the little things, the nuances, having a good locker room, having, everything work properly. Those things are just in-house things that we can control, per se. And we still got some work to do in those areas, but I know me being here, I cannot speak on anybody else because I'm not there. I hear just like y'all here, but I'm not there, so I can't speak on it. But what I can speak on at Jackson State, we have a president that's proactive. We have an athletic director that's proactive. And as a university, we have standards. We want to be the best. And we don't want to be the best HBCU. We want to be the best university in the country. So that's our mindset. That's our mind frame. And obviously, it don't happen overnight. Nothing's perfect. But at the same time, we have a lot of people that have the same vision. And guys, women that don't, they do a good job of replacing them or really getting them to understand the vision.
You talked about mentorship, and I learned as I'm, going through my own career how important like mentorship and networking is. And, people would say, Mo Williams, he's the guy, all-star, champion. He knows enough about basketball, but, you have leaned on, other men in coaching. How important is it to,
you
be
can
a
never
student?
stop learning. You can never stop getting better. Like a couple weeks ago, we played Prairie View and Texas Southern, but I took my team on an off day to watch University of Houston practice. Not only for them to see how they practice, but for me to learn from Coach Sampson on how he operates, on how he coaches his team. And I take some of those things back with me. And I want to be him, but I want to have some of those characteristics. And that's only that. If you're stuck in your own ways and you don't want to get better, you want to improve, you're going to stay the same. And eventually, a lot of people are going to surpass you because of the simple fact that you're not getting better.
Coach, still relatively young in your coaching career. Okay, you had a long career that young. But what's probably
You said the
profound
most profound, what? You
about
kind of broke
coaching?
up when you said profound.
Most profound piece of advice another coach has given you.
I'm still struggling with the best advice I got.
What stuck with you?
And it's hard because I'm still young. I haven't been a head coach long enough to understand the little things of I'm trying to word it right. Dealing with kids, right? I'm a guy that never want to give up on kids. Never want to give up on them. And I still have that issue. And I've had some veteran coaches come to me and spoke to them. And one thing they say is, man, run your program and don't give too many chances. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. And that's hard. It's hard for me. And that's one thing I probably never change because it's hard. But that's one advice, probably the main advice that I got, that I struggle with. That's probably going to be my struggle for as long as I'm a head coach, because I feel that I can reach and touch anybody, no matter the case. And if I decide to bring someone in the family, I want to make sure I see them through. But that's one that I struggle with. But that's probably the best advice, because it's true, because sometimes you have to kind of wipe your hands and kind of move forward, because you don't want to, hurt the group, trying to help one person. But it's one thing that I definitely struggle with.
Well, the NBA is kind of, working themselves into, HBCU hoops. You have guys playing at All-Star Weekend. You have guys like J.R. Smith getting involved. LeBron has to do.
So the issue that I have with that
You got JR?
is, I'm trying to word this right. The issue
Hey, ain't no
that I
sense in
have
saying
with
Take
that
your
is,
time.
it really doesn't help us doing that. You like, for example, it's like they're doing this, but what comes of it? Like, what we need, forget all that. What we need is come help. How about come adopt? It's only I don't know the exact number. Y'all can help me with that, the exact number of HBCUs. But let's just start with Division One. Let's just start there. You know, it ain't that many Division One programs as far as HBCU is concerned. How about you guys go raise $1 billion or 10 million or $100 million and help all these Division One programs reach another level in Division One area, where putting on something for the All-Star game, putting on a classic for a few days where they are on national TV. That doesn't help anything. How about adopt these schools and understand, like, hey, these guys need new facilities. How about let's go on all these HBCU campuses and build them practice facilities. Let's make sure they have football, have practice field in their locker rooms is great. Let's make sure they have money in their budget where these kids can eat properly. You know, where we make sure all these kids are getting cost of attendance. Like that's a whole different ball game, and that's what helps us. That's what helps us grow. Because if you do that, it's hard to get. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to word it right, because I just think it's just more so of, hey, we did this in the world, thinking that you guys are just helping HBCUs, but we don't reap the benefits of that. Like we don't reap the benefits of that at all. You know, we just go out and fly out and we go somewhere and we play a couple games on national TV and it's sponsored by the NBA, and all they doing is paying for our travel. They paying for our travel to get there and paying for food, and we go right back home a week later and we're in the same boat. And they just pick a couple more teams the next year. You know, so be honest with you, it doesn't, my opinion, it doesn't help.
Well, my question was
And
going to
that's
be, what
more they
more do
can
you think
do.
they
I
can
mean,
do? And
we
hey,
need practice facilities. We need a bigger budget so we can get quality coaches in our league. So much the head coaches are really good in our league, but when you talk about our assistant coaching staff, we got to go young, you know, because those older experienced coaches are getting those jobs somewhere else that they can go make $150,000, $200,000. That's what the head coaches is making in our league, you know. So now, when you talk about that, now you don't have quality assistants, right? You got systems that you're trying to build up that they're going to be great later, you know. So it's just a lot of things that can change, you know, just with support, the right support in the right way. It's just more so of just the money aspect of it. And people always say, well, I get this so often. Hey, I want to send some money, but I want to make sure it's going to the right place. I want to make sure it's being spent in the right place, and I get this so much. Now I'm not in that world, so I can't even speak on that. I don't have no finance. I'm not even going to try. But what I do know is it's an issue when I got to go play 13 straight road games non-conference, and every school that I play got to give me $75,000 to $100,000 to come play so I can raise money to support myself, my staff, our travel, and women's basketball, and multiple other sports on the campus. I shouldn't have to do that. You know, I shouldn't have to do that. And you wonder why we go in the league, play 1 and 12. You know, because we got to go on the road and play those games. So when you talk about support, that's the support we need. We need somebody to go adopt. We need 10 donors to go and adopt 10 donors each school to go adopt the school, and if each one of the donors give them $100,000, 10 donors, that's $1 million. We wouldn't have to go play all those games. You know, now we can play home games and have better fan engagement because it trickles down. So now we don't play a home game until January 2nd. The doggone season started November 7th. So the first time our fans get to see us is January the 4th, and we 1-12. So in their mind, like, man, they sorry as hell. They don't, because the casual fan don't understand what we have to go through to even get to this game. They don't understand that we've been on the road since November 7th, through Thanksgiving, through Christmas. We on the road. We on the road. In 2 months, we might have been in Jackson, Mississippi 10 days. We in town for a couple of days, back on the road 3-4 days. In town, back on the road for 7 days. In town, back on the road for 4 days. In town, back on the road for 5 days. And how you can help us is to get us on a playing field where we can have 7-8 home games in November and December, and get our fan engaged, understanding who we are. And then January here, we'll have a packed house. You know, when I went to Alabama, so I use them as an example. When I watched their game sold out because they have the engagement. They playing out of 13 games, they're playing 8 of those games, 9 of those games, in some cases at home. And then they get half of those games in conference play. So think about this. We play 30 games on our schedule. Guess how many of them games at home? 9. 9 games.
8.
9 games. How many fans gonna travel to Iowa and, you know, Nebraska and Michigan? They ain't doing that. So the games they come to is 9 games. You know, so that's hard. So when you talk about us, and we're a Division I program. So with that being said, when you have those instances, you have those situations, that's what we need support at. Let's change that. Forget flying us out to Vegas to play 2 games on national television. Forget that. Use that money and send us $300,000-$400,000, and that'll cut down 5 games we have to play on the road. Now we can play those 5 games at home in front of our fans. That's more support than flying us out to Vegas. That's another road game.
You're very passionate about it, and you certainly, I mean, have the stature. You know, have you, like, you know, like try to have this type of dialogue with, you know, higher ups in the NBA, you know, for them to do that kind of stuff for HBCUs? Because I can understand your point of view where you say that some of it seems a little performative, like, oh, you know, this is what we're doing, but, you know, like you said, there's more to be done. So do you think that with your stature and your accomplishments as an NBA player, you could have that type of dialogue to make those type of changes?
I do. But like I said, I got a job to do too. So I'm consumed with what I'm doing here, because it's already hard on me, because obviously from all those, you know, everything I've just told you just 5 minutes ago, just all the things I have to deal with. But one thing I have learned is people say they want to help until they got to spend money. I've realized that. When you got to spend money, it's a totally different ball game. People show up, people take photos and be a part of something. But when it starts talking about dollars, you know, it's hard to come by. And I've learned, you know, just being in the NBA and understanding, you know, that people don't spend their money on those type things. So they talk about it, they say things, and they support it. They'll post on IG, since we're on IG, I use it. They'll post on social media. You know, they'll, you know, say certain things on how they do it. But, you know, you give me somebody that's really, you know, supporting the HBCU or helping them get practice facilities, donating, saying, hey, if you just take this for example, you just take an NBA team. It's 30 teams in the NBA, and you just take a team and you say, just one team, just say, hey, one team, listen, I'm gonna help Jackson State. So I'm gonna go get all my teammates and say, hey, all y'all, man, listen, we all gonna donate 100,000. 13 players, we're gonna donate 100,000 a year, you know, to Jackson State. the other school, other program they'll do. I mean, other teams will get another school, get another school. So you imagine like each school getting, you know, $1 million a year. Like that's something, you know, that's more that'll benefit us more than anything, because now we can go out and do certain things as far as facility wise, because that's the biggest thing at a HBCU. It's facilities. It's our facilities. Like, we have issues with that, and it just costs money to fix. And it's a lot of things that goes on campus outside of sports. So all the money that comes in, it can't be earmarked to sports, to athletics. You got to keep dorms up. You got to, you know, you have at HBCU, listen, you know what happened. I don't know if you guys went to HBCU or not, but at the same time, okay, well, you probably been in some dorms where it had some mold issue, you know, where they had to come, well, I don't know, you know, I guarantee you, you know, but those type of things, you know, we got to fix things when it gets so bad, because we got to, and lack of a better word, stretch the dollar. You know, we got to stretch the dollar, you know, because we just don't have that. I went to Alabama. My son just graduated from Alabama, right? So I went to Alabama in 2002. He graduated in this summer in 22. That's 20 years difference, right? It's a total different campus. Total different campus. Jackson State. I have an assistant coach that played at Jackson State, that graduated from Jackson State in 2004. We're in 2023. Their campus is the exact same. Just to give you an example. That building looks the same. This locker room looks the same. The locker room that we're in now was the same locker room he sat in. That's the difference.
Coach, given some of your NBA connections, your resources, have you personally tried to reach out to the base to see if they were willing to, you know, make
Again,
contributions to the
I
program?
have to get better at that. It's hard for me to ask for a lot of things more than once. More than once. I'm just a guy that just go get it done. You know, I spend my own money just to give them, you know, some of what we need. Obviously, I'm not a $300 million guy. I got a family, I got a life, so I can't do everything. But I try to make do with what we can. But yes, to answer your question, I do have relationships with guys that's currently in the NBA, guys that, you know, to retire like I am. And those guys support. They do. But from a monetary standpoint, I haven't gotten anything.
So they just offering
they
advice.
support. You know, they support. They have a platform. They have a lot of followers, and so they bring the notoriety, you know, to the situation and things like that. But as far as somebody stepping up and saying, "Listen, I'm finna give you guys, you know, 500,000. I'm gonna give you guys $1 million. You know what? I'm gonna buy you guys a new court. I just want the court to be named after me." Like, I haven't had those kind of conversations with anybody, and I think that's something that I need to do, and that ain't all on them. It's part of me too. It's just hard for me to ask more than once. You know, I've asked guys, "Hey, can you help us? Can you help us?" I didn't sent links to people and didn't get a response. But when I called to say, "Hey man, what's up, baby? How you doing?" "Oh, what up, man? How you doing?" But when you send a link for a donation, you know, it's crickets. Or it's, "Yep, I got you, dog. I got you. All right, here go the link. All you gotta do is hit the link, put it in there. Simple as that." Still waiting. And after that, it's hard for me to just kind of go back and keep asking. So people, I mean, hopefully it changes. Hopefully it changes. But at the end of the day, I don't dwell on it. I'm just talking about it because you're asking about it. And when I ask once, don't get anything, I just kind of keep moving, keep plugging, and recruit the guys that actually want to be in this situation. Because it takes a special type of guy to come to an HBCU and really be really good and reach your potential, because it's easy to get what I call caught up in the smoke, you know, just kind of like getting lost, understanding like, yeah, this HBCU, so I can be myself. Being yourself don't mean out here wilding and doing certain things. Like, being yourself is actually being around people that look like you trying to be something in life. You know, like that's the benefit of being at an HBCU. HBCU, you know, it's doctors, it's lawyers. I know my lawyer today graduated from Jackson State. You know, two of my lawyers, two different lawyers I deal with, both graduates from Jackson State. A judge that one of my best friends graduated from Jackson State. So that's what I'm saying when you start seeing people around HBCU that look like you. These are people that will own businesses, will be judges, lawyers, doctors, et cetera.
Well, to get back to hoops, we're looking forward to the SWAC basketball tournament, which is in about a month.
Well,
what kind of goals do you have leading up to that time?
Right. That's the first goal. And we're on track to do that. We just got to, obviously, these last 9 games finish strong, just like we did first 9 games. Because we played 18 total conference games. So we through 9. We're 5-4 right now. We play Saturday, Monday. We take care of those 2 games. We'll be sitting at 7-4 with 7 games to play. So we're excited where we are. Obviously, we wish we could be better, but we're not at the bottom. We're not even, we're close to the top. We're closer to the top than at the bottom, put it like that. So we're in good shape. We just got to continue to stay healthy. We've been banged up a little bit. Continue to stay healthy or get healthy, per se, and finish strong. That's our goal, is to get in that tournament. When we bring it in every single day in the huddle, and our chant is, on 3 SWAC champs, on 6 love, and that love meaning you got to love what you do. You got to love everything. You got to love getting up in the morning. You got to love working. You got to love going to class. You got to love everything you do. Because if you love everything you do, you're going to give everything you got into it. So that's why we say love.
And to touch on basketball, and just came in first year, inherited some, maybe you brought.
I heard coaches, and that's a big word. You said established coach. I heard established too, but it's all right. You got one bar over there.
Sorry.
Yeah, she in Mobile.
But
so.
The culture is the most important thing, and it's hard when you're in your first year, because typically when you're in your first year, you're not concerned about winning. You're just concerned about establishing your culture. And I'm trying to do both, at the same time. So I've, been in a situation getting them to understand how important winning is. But I've been in situations where I had to make an executive decision to do certain things with my team to make sure my culture is established. And one thing about your culture, you would not have a winning program if you don't have a culture. You can have a winning season, but you won't have a winning program.
And Coach, I have what that a lot of coaches, when they think about, they always say, I would have went, but it never offered me. They were a level recruit. So what's your kind of stance offering some of these big time guys?
Well, I don't think we there at basketball yet. Football,
yeah.
you can actually do that. Prime has showed us that. But basketball, we further along than we think, in that aspect. So we're probably not going to get those type of guys yet until we improve our facilities. We improve what we can offer them, because those guys can go a lot of different areas, for our schools and get what they need to get to be where they need to go. So they don't need a HBCU. Those caliber guys need, we need. They don't need nothing from us. So that's hard. Answer your question, because I was one of those guys when I came out of high school. And we're getting out that mind frame, because I do offer kids, just like you talk, I still offer kids. #1 junior in the country. I offer them, you know, so do I know he coming? I'm not a fool, you know. It's not coming. Not even listeners is the top 5, but I offered them. You know, I had a home visit. I talked to his parents. I talked to him. So we're definitely still in those conversations, but you know, you can't go to a gunfight with a knife, you know, and that's where we find ourselves so often, and it's hard. I don't care if you're Mo Williams or not, because that wears out. That just got me in the door. That just got me the conversation. That just got me the home visit. In some cases, that got them to just come on a visit to check us out. But it's just a big difference when they have so many options. Now, getting back to me 20 years ago, a little bit over 20 years, but when I came out of high school, I was, you know, McDonald's All-American. You know, I was top 15 in the country, best point guard, rated 1 or 2 in the country. And I'm from Jackson. We played our high school games at Jackson State because they needed a bigger facility for some of our games. In the summertime, I actually went up there and played pickup ball with the current team at the time when I was in high school. And Jackson State never offered me, you know, and so that is true. You know, that is true, because when you're talking about recruiting, you know, I just used Alabama as an example. You know, when they want to recruit, they can go. You're in Mobile right now. They can jump on a plane. They can be at your Mobile in 30 minutes, you know, and jump off the plane, go to your house, talk to you, wine and dine you, get you excited about their school, jump back on the plane and be in their bed the same night. For us, that's not the case. We can't move around like that. We don't have a budget. We don't have the money, because that money got to go for other things for us to make sure we can do the things that we need to do for us travel, for us a lot of other things. So our budget for us recruiting is not like those guys. So even if we have a big time recruit, but we have other guys that we really can get, and they're really good too. You know, there's really good players. So we got to focus on those guys. So that time we got to go drive 5-6 hours to them and spend the night, then wake up in the morning and drive back. It's hard to do that when you know you're not going to get a guy. You know you don't have a shot to get a guy. So, yeah, we can recruit those guys, but at the same time, you got to be smart. You got to be strategic. Now, if it's a case where you feel like you can get them, you got to go all in. But you got to have a great feeling from your initial conversation and your initial meeting with them, and you got to leave that meeting understanding, yeah, we don't have a chance with this guy, or we have a chance. And quite frankly, for the most part, you know, you'll leave with the opportunity saying, you know what, we had an opportunity, I'm glad we got in the house, but that's going to be hard to get, you know. So, but on the flip side of that, the transfer portal is real. You know, guys go to these, you know, big time schools because they have that option, and you know, they're going to go with what they're familiar with. So you take those guys, for example, if they go to a Texas Tech, you know, a Texas Southern, Texas Tech, or Georgetown, I'm just throwing schools out there, and they don't work out, you know, they don't play as much, or, you know, the coach, or whatever the case may be, you just give whatever reason. And, you know, they in the transfer portal because in their mind, I just want to play. I want the opportunity to play. But if you never recruited that kid, you never got in the house and really talked to them parents, when they go in the transfer portal and they want to leave their school, it's going to be hard for you to even get in to even recruit them then. So what I tell myself and what I tell my assistant coaches, I don't care who it is. If we like them, let's recruit them, because you never know in a year or two what may happen. That same player may come back to you, to your program. And Texas Southern has had a lot of success like that. You know, they had big time transfers come to Texas Southern because they done seen the glitz and the glamour. That doesn't do anything ain't for them anymore. Now they just want to play good basketball and play for a coach that in some cases they can relate to, you know, because typically every coach in our league is black, you know, and predominantly those players are black. So it's a lot of different situations that can bring a kid back to you. So you always want to continue to recruit those kids early on.
Well, Coach, it has been exciting to have you on HBCU, period. You know, both of us, we used to be hoopers back in the day. So, you know, being on here with Mo Williams is not something that we take lightly. So we thank you for joining us. Do you have anything to say?
Where did you guys play at? What school? Oh, high school. Oh, you retired.
Shout out my high school.
Oh yeah, we know we ain't big time like that.
Gotcha.
We ain't
what HBCU?
We can still give somebody a bucket.
High school.
I went to
That's a good
Florida
school.
A&M.
That's a good school.
Yeah.
All right.
Florida A&M.
So are you? I know you're in Mobile. Are you based out of Mobile? Okay. What about you?
No, actually born and raised Detroit, Michigan.
I was born in California, but I was raised here in Orlando.
Well, listen, it was a pleasure. I enjoyed it. I
did too.
Nice.
We promised we weren't going to be mean to beat you up. We was going to be nice. So I think we lived up to our end.
Well, Coach, thank you so much. We will see you at the SWAC basketball tournament.
and
we pray that the rest of the season goes well for you. Now, we'll see you.
I ain't going to hide.
Don't be hiding from us now.
We'll see you there.
All right, see y'all. Thank y'all.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Coach, have a blessed. Thank you.